Alright, hello and welcome. This is Kazuno, and I'm doing another ranger build. And I actually wanted to do another ranger build today, which would be a gunblade build, but I guess that will have to wait to next week, since I was waiting for the items for the dragons to come out, so I can actually change my razor spine to actually have strength, which it should, but it doesn't because I'm very good. Yeah. So that I can get the proper mount buff and stuff and actually, compare it fairly. So instead, we are doing the 102 armor build. Now, 102 armor sounds pretty ridiculous. Basically, why that is the case is basically the 105 armor in comparison to the 102 armor in terms of set effect is actually nerfed on ranger. So instead of getting 450 focus like we would on a mage, or well, rather 450 DA, we get 250 focus. We just get 200, I think we get 100 more ferocity for it, which is pretty bad since toughness exists. And so 105 armor is not too good for ranger. So then we look for alternatives and we see, okay, well, we could do DB armor. Now, DB armor has a pretty cool set effect for the ranger, which we can see right here. It makes your annihilation sphere and your firebomb basically trigger 3 times when you hit the button just once. So I'm just pressing E one single time and it does it 3 times. And the same with firebomb. So yeah, that is pretty cool. One thing to note is that the firebomb doesn't actually trigger the chain explosion 3 times, so that doesn't work. But yeah, that's pretty sad, but sadly not the case. But it's still pretty good damage increase. But it's still a pretty good damage increase to just have the firebomb higher. But yeah. So, that for the theory. Running all 800 shards right now, as you probably know by now. Not cheating anywhere or anything. And this is the masteries. Now, one thing to note here is that I use wings. You could also use burning wind. I would only recommend to use Burning Wind though when you have a bigger party and you are running DB or something like that, or Mati, Celia, something like that. And then in that case you would have to take out either 5 points out of Desolation Sphere or out of Aesthetics of Violence and put them into Wind Blast. I wouldn't actually use Wind Blast though, since the build itself is very AP hungry and you would need even more AP then. So yeah, that much to that, and now we will test the damage. One thing to also note is that I use energy conversion, which we will see in a moment when we load it up. It's on my 3 slot. It is just a energy skill, which will take some health from you, I think, and yeah, and gives you action points. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, right, attributes. I put 100 points into ferocity and the rest into focus. I did test with different ratios if I should take out some points out of focus and put them into strength, but with the physical damage ratios we are looking at, focus is pretty much the way to go. At least if you have as high shards and anything above. So yeah. Let's do a damage test. So yeah, that's the damage. Yeah, it's pretty nice damage for basically an almost pure bow build, and it's in my opinion a nice alternative to the usual linear build that most people run. So yeah, if you like it, then you can run it. It is also, in my opinion, especially if you're not geared very well, then it's better than with a 5 armor. So yeah, would recommend it. You can try it. It's cool.